Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 14th episode of Z.I.P Talks. Today, we are with Team 6899, the Blue Bots from Jamaica, and today we'll be talking about team sustainability. My name is Mohil, and I'm part of the outreach team on Team Z.I.P Ties.
My name is Ankita, and I'm the business lead on Team Z.I.P Ties.
Good day. My name is Joel Henry. I'm the president of Team 6899 and outreach manager.
Good day, my name is Zachary Emblin. I'm the chief engineer.
Thank you guys so much. So, my first question and sort of our introductory question is, why didn't you tell us about your team's journey and first tech challenge?
Our team's journey. Well, for this current year, it has been really great, to be honest. Like, the team has been around for around the 1996, if I'm correct, Zachary. So we've
Indeed.
had like a lot of like succession and mentorship. But I believe that this year we have been extremely strong. We've got a lot of outreaches out, especially helping other teams within our country when it comes to building the robot, in addition to getting new equipment and creating a really good bot that allowed us to win the competition. However, I want to hear from you guys. How was your guys first experience, like your first journey, I should say?
So our season, I don't know if this is the same for you, but we started back in September, and this is our fourth season as a team. We previously were part of First Lego League for 2 years, and then we transitioned to First Tech Challenge. So this year we had a couple league meets, and then we had our league championship. So it's like a subsidiary of our state championship, and there we won the Inspire Award and we're part of the winning alliance. And then we moved on to our state championship. There we actually won the Inspire Award, which is a really big thing for us because first of all it's our third time going there and we won the Inspire Award, which is a really big deal for us because we're going to the World Championship. Like we're really excited to be there and just to meet all the teams that are going to be there. So, it's been a really long journey, I would say, for this season, and we can't wait for the memories that we're gonna make at the World Championship.
Nice to hear, man.
Yeah, yeah. So, during your season, were there any outreach events that you said were notable to your team or really stood out for you guys?
Well, I believe like one of our like notable outreach events were we hosted a scrimmage in which was attended by 80% of the competing teams. We were able to help them in all fronts: engineering, programming, technical writing, and CAD. Because the competition, right, for the national championships in Jamaica, it started around 2018. And while some teams are getting used to it, after COVID, like, affected their development, because there was a pause after that, we were trying to get them back to the flow. So I believe like our scrimmage was one of our biggest outreaches that we have ever held.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Like I know we hosted a league meet too in like our area, and I know like how much like planning and like how much time went into that. So like for you guys, how'd you guys go about that? Like what do you guys think like was the best like ways for you guys to, like organize yourselves? The hardest thing about like hosting a scrimmage, obviously, because it's a very big thing and so many teams attended. So how'd you guys go about planning all of that?
Well, first of all, we gotta sort out the venue. Luckily, of course, our high school had a huge auditorium, and that auditorium is mainly used for the national championships. So we were able to convince our principal to be able to hold that scrimmage there. So that's like the first thing. Second thing was, of course, to get in touch with like FTC Jamaica to see if they can like if they're willing to provide us with anything, maybe like tables or so, or maybe like any volunteers that would like to help. And the third thing would just be letting the teams know. Luckily, we kept in touch with a lot of the teams due to like our relations through like First Global Challenge and our previous years. So we were able to like get in touch with them and let them know about it. And luckily they all came. So far it has been smooth sailing when it came to the preparations.
Yeah, I know definitely like as I was saying, like the planning is really hard, but at the end of the day on like Saturday, just seeing all the teams that are just so happy to be there, and being able to see like the difference you're able to make in your local first community is just something else. It's not something that you can get from anything else, I'd say. So we're not just with your league meet, but you're saying that you guys were helping teams. What are like some of the examples that you guys have of helping teams out in your country?
Well, how we helped teams, we mainly did some interclubbings with them. We met them like, in person. We helped them build their, not really build their bot, but give them tips and tricks when it comes to it, assist them with their programming. Especially, we created a website which provided some information as well about like how we could basically how they can do certain stuff like get CAD, do program mechanical mechanism. Sorry, I'm sorry, mechanism wheels, and I forgot the third one to be honest. But yes, we created a website to help them out. We also didn't really also like we didn't really only help FTC teams only. We also helped like FLL teams, First Lego League, in which one of the mentors, Zachary Runlin, is here. He has helped Vast Prep in their preparations for First Lego League. So we try our best to like help each and every team in each and every front as we can.
Yeah, definitely. It's really important to try and help as many teams, not just in your area, but on all the different levels of first. Just I know for us, we actually assist two first Lego League teams in our area, at the previous middle school that we went to, which is really cool for us because you're able to go back to where you started and just build up the first community there. You know, so sort of talking about just giving back on a more local level. Are there any like nonprofit groups or areas that you guys specifically connect with to spread the message of first or like first advocacy or
Hmm.
One thing that we did, as I can say, is we actually had some children from the inner city. Our school held a Christmas treat for some children in inner city, about I believe over 800 children, and we were there with our robot, and we presented to them about first tech challenge, what our club, what we do, and so that was one main thing that we've done this season. We also, in the past previous season, we've gone to food shelters, we've gone to schools for the deaf, schools for the blind, many different places like that. But overall, this season, the main thing that we've done is the 800 children from the inner city.
That's amazing. Definitely, like all the things you guys have done. You guys have been around for such a long time. Definitely have made like a really big impact to a bunch of people. Do you guys like you guys have done like so many things, been able to like go out to such a big event like that? Would you guys say like there's any like advice you'd give to like other teams that are trying to like do something like that impactful as well? Like how would they go about like being able to connect with the people that like host it, or like how'd you guys be able to like foundation like that connection you guys have with them?
Well, when it comes, well, a tip I could say to like do something like as impactful as that. Well, you could approach it many ways. Of course, you could have close networks with people, because what I see is that some teams they don't realize like say some of their members have really good close connections with very like well known people that they can hold like a certain event with, like an impactful event. Yet let's say you don't have that, then try your best to like get something in order, try to spread your message around, speak with your school or with your like members or even like businesses to give you the support that you need to hold these events. It could be as simple as like a STEM expo like within your school, or something big as like how our school held a Christmas treat. So if you can't really do the big impactful stuff, then that's fine, but try your best to at least like if you have to start from small, then from small.
yeah, definitely just like starting small and building your way up is definitely the way to go. And I think you're saying something about how you guys or how you guys go to STEM nights, with your team members. So, and through that, you guys are able to actually like encounter members. I think so. Are there any other ways that your team brings in members into your team and facilitate their growth?
Well, one of our main ways would be, well, at our school, we have a robotics club. So what we'll mainly do is that we'll get members through there. We will train them from, because our school follows the British education system, so it starts from grade 7 and ends up to grade 13. We try to like influence kids to like join from early, teach them, multiple stuff when it comes to robotics, whether that be engineering, programming, CAD, or technical writing, and just get them into the club and potentially into the team. I believe that we have like around 4 members who are from like grade 7 to grade 8, and a few members who are in like grade 11 right now who are a part of the club, or a part of the team, I should say.
Yeah, so for those four team members from grade 7 to 8, how do you guys sort of like train them to take on more leadership roles later on when more of your senior members graduate and go away from the program? How do you make sure like your team, continues that growth?
We have what's called a succession program, and that pretty much entails us senior members will take the younger members and train them in our specific department. So, for example, I have one or two mentees that I'm training for engineering. Joel has three mentees that he's trained for outreach, and we have our programmers and our CAD personnel. And so over time, throughout the season and throughout our time in the team before we graduate, we'll teach them all the things that we've learned so that they can go and teach the next generation and allow for the continuing of the club for the foreseeable future.
Well, that sounds amazing. We have like something kind of like we have something similar. We call it like zip training, and it's basically when like new recruits kind of like shadow all our like lead team members, and it kind of is the same way. And it also applies to like veteran team members, like when they themselves are like learning new ideas and like getting guidance from like mentors and things like that. And like when we go back to like how we get like new recruits, we're like a community based team, so we all come from like different schools, so we don't have like a substantial like club that we can like go to exactly. But how we look out like outreach events and like connections like here and there to be able to like see who's interested. Like that's one way like we go about like how we are able to like sustain our team and things like that.
That's nice. Great to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Just trying to find more people to get more involved into the program is a really big thing, especially within your own team. So, sort of talking more about like the robot side of things and softer side with those younger mentors, or not younger mentors, those younger members of your team. Um, how do you guys keep them or how do you guys keep them engaged and involved throughout the season when it comes time to start preparing your robot for the national championship and now the world championship? Or how do you guys keep them more involved and on the same pace as those senior members?
What we try to do is we try to have them actively engage in the building of our robot, in the overall creation of the robot, and in any outreach activities that we do, we try to involve them, whether it be in the actual execution or in the planning phase. And when it comes to national championships, we make sure that they're present, even if they're just observing what's happening. We make sure that they're there so they can see what's happening, learn what's supposed to happen, and enjoy robotics as much as we do.
Yeah, so like I know like a big thing with us is that with our younger members, we try to not just involve them with our current preparations for the robot, but we also give them a task. We actually give them enough materials to make their own robot to try and develop those soft skills. So next year they can apply those to more of the competition robots to actually have them be able to see like where they line up with the current season compared to the next season. That way, when it comes to the current season or the next season, they have a really good head start on to what they're doing, which is I think sort of similar to what you guys are doing, which is really wonderful. So, like with the robot, how are your preparations right now for the World Championship?
But with our robots currently, we have it's going well. We've continued to use the model that we've used in our national championships, and our drivers are currently doing their practice runs. And the programmers said they have to make a few tweaks here and there. As engineers, our jobs have pretty much been done. Just have to make a few troubleshootings, but overall, it's pretty stable so far. Just and making sure that it's fully prepared and the drivers know how to control it and they're ready for the actual matches when it comes on to the World Championship.
As for the other side, like CAD and technical writing, it's just that the CAD members, they're currently, of course, knowing that we're using the same model. They're good so far. The technical writers, they will still need to wait on the info of the other departments. But yeah,
That sounds really good. I'm glad you guys are like really like able to keep up and keep track, and we can't wait to see you guys. But I know like for us, like I know our like engineers and like our CAD and our like designers, they kind of made a few tweaks here and there. I know they're like right now trying to like work on like little things here and there, and our programmer is kind of like programming. It's like always a little stressful like a week before, obviously. But how do you guys like manage between like working on the robot and like working on outreach? Like, is there any organizational skills you guys like put in place to actually like make sure everything's getting done that needs to get done, especially with like with worlds just like right around the corner, making sure you have like everything prepared and everything ready?
so for like balancing with outreach, right? I can maybe talk about how we balance between outreach and building. So for now, at this moment, right? Any like physical outreach, we kind of somewhat cut off at the moment because we're preparing for like worlds at the moment. We're ensuring that our robot is good and well, as well as our judging practices. However, I think beforehand, like days before, sometimes we'll get like messages saying, "Oh hey, there's an outreach event happening here. You guys are willing to go," and then we will always be somewhat available for that because majority of our outreaches would happen like before our meeting times, which would be like after school, like around 2:45 or so. So yeah, that's how we mainly balance it. I'm not sure if Zachary can add anything onto it.
Well, for the robot side, we tried to make sure that our engineers we have to send at least one engineer to the outreach, but we try to make sure that if the robot is not needed, then all engineers remain back without not at the outreach, but back at the school, so they can continue to work on the robot and make whatever changes needs to be made and do whatever needs to be done. But yeah, that's how we balance it.
Yeah, I know definitely for us, we try and make a good time of both spending time on our notebook, our outreach events, and spending time on the robot so we can continue being a well rounded team. And that way, we can strive to do the best in everything we can do. So, one of the things I would like to ask was like, I know that you guys were saying that you guys, like, as I could see on your team Instagram, is that you guys have done a lot of outreach events. I've seen you here and there at almost like a lot of STEM nights, a lot recently like at the Ministry of Education. So, how do you guys, go out and find these outreach events, not just them coming to you?
Okay, that's a good question because how do we find these events? Because okay, so due to our team being like really well known in robotics within our country, most of the times we'll get like information like people who wants us to like come to these events and showcase. However, how we like figure out about St. Outreach events would be when basically our administrators who are like past members of the teams, they will speak with other people. I think one of our faculty advisors, Mr. Brown, he spoke with a well-known like live television channel that allows us to like go on live television and showcase FTC and first to the people in Jamaica. And I believe there's also like for our preparations for worlds, sometimes FTCJA also like assist us in a sense with an outreach at I don't remember where, but it was one that focuses on letting women know about like first sends them.
Yeah, like I think that's one of the main ways, or one of the ways we actually get our outreach events is, parents on the team or current mentors actually are like, hey, there's this outreach event going around here talking about, engineering and STEM. Why don't you guys go and spread the word of first year? Or, we actually take the time to try and find events by not just, emailing, but we try our best to find it in any way we can because, there's no harm in doing as many outreach events as you can, no matter, like, I think one of the benefits of having COVID was a lot more of the outreach events became virtual, which allowed us to go to more and actually, make a bigger impact, which was really important for us. So have there been any virtual events that your team has been able to attend, just like the Zip Talks? Has there been any other events?
One event that I can remember was when they actually had a school called Liberty Academy. We held them over Zoom to build their robot and start up their club. Other than that, we haven't really had any real virtual events. Most of our events have been face to face, which has allowed us to help others better and be able to see them, be there with them, show them our robot, see their robot, actually give them physical, tangible help instead of being virtual.
However, I do believe that, like, I think last year though, we did do somewhat of a virtual event where we did like a workshop for like, different teams online with the same four departments in mind. But yeah, that's just what I could remember for now.
Yeah, like that's really cool. What you guys are doing with not just your workshop, but with just helping teams in physically. Like I think a big thing for us is when we had our league meets, we would have some team members that would be able to go out to other teams that might be having some mechanical issues or wiring issues, and those members would actually be able to go over, help them, get them to run their robot, and that way everyone has a chance to run the robot, and it just it's just really an important thing for us to try and give back anywhere we can. So um, or sort of navigating away from that topic, I was gonna ask, like, for us, we do a lot of our outreach events in the state of Florida, and I know for you guys, do you guys do more of your outreach events on a national level? So how are you guys able to broaden the impact that you guys have across, Jamaica or across the world?
Well, this has been done. Well, within Jamaica, we would like hold outreaches that deals with like that'll be outside in different parishes because the parish that we're mainly associated in would be Kingston or St Andrew. It's a small argument there, but we would basically attend outreaches that are outside the parish. I think two notable ones were at Port Antonio, like Portland, and I forgot. Zachary can speak about another one where he made the ministry, like the minister of education, but that was at another parish. Which parish was that?
That was in St. Catherine at Cedar Grove Academy.
Yes, that. Another thing as well is that we're also able to like impact persons like within the country by our interclubbings. Most of our well, some of the teams are from different parishes. For example, York Castle High, the singers, who went up for Inspire Award, I think during 2019. They would come all the way from St. Anne. They'll come to us so that we can assist them, as well as schools such as Glenmere and so on, especially from the skirmish that I earlier mentioned. A lot of teams came from different parishes, so we're able to like impact them through like them just mainly coming to us. Another thing as well is like as I earlier mentioned, we've been on like live television, radio broadcast, so we're able to like spread the word of FTC and First and impact members through to different parishes within the country, as well as us hosting a website to assist those. But yeah.
Well, that's amazing. You guys have definitely made like a really big impact in your community and everything. But when you guys were talking about like impacting like assisting teams, I know how you guys were saying how like helping them, whether it's like building the robot or like helping them with like parts and like funds. Can you like explain more about like how you guys go about that in terms of like parts and like funding to help other teams?
It's like I believe you can say this one.
All right. Well, we don't really help other teams in terms of the parts. We leave that to FTC Jamaica. We would help them when it comes on to the assembling of the parts and actually building their robots. In terms of funding, that's one. Once again, we don't really do much of that. We leave that to First Tech Challenge Jamaica and to the individual teams. Our assistance mainly is in the form of the actual competition preparedness in all aspects of their team, other than the funding and getting the parts.
However, I did some assists in like helping some teams when it comes to like giving them like tips and tricks when it comes to like managing their club and their team and how to approach a few things. Not too much, just some small tips and tricks there.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense. I just like I missed like I thought you were like talking about something else. I just want to like make sure I heard it like right exactly. But again, like on your impact, how have you guys been able to see like you guys have done such like impactful things? Have you guys been able to see like kids and like other like students like join more first teams, or whether that's been like FLL teams have been able to like grow and like maybe become an FTC team as well? Like, have you guys been able to see like that impact like further on? Because I know for like our team, we've been able to see how like some like teams we've seen, we've like helped them join some other like first teams, or when we like host like an FLL like camp, we've seen how like some of them have gotten really interested and started their own team. So
Well, for that question, we okay. I think a good note would be like an experience that I had because when I started like back the club for like just to get the members used to robotics and what it is and give them an introduction. I've heard that a few members that from our previous outreaches has basically like came to our school to basically do robotics. So I mainly saw that impact through there. In addition, we also like went to different schools and let them know about like FTC because middle school for you guys would be considered like prep and primary schools. So we went to different prep and primary schools. We we just let them know about FTC. We let them know about the different teams that they could join our schools that they can go. As for FLL is like just starting now this year in our country, so it's just being introduced. So we're now like also letting them know about that as well as assisting them when it comes to like the preparations of that. But that's how I could answer the question. I hope that's good enough.
Yeah, I think like as both of you and Ankita were saying, just being able to help on the lower level of first is really important because it sort of not just facilitates the growth of first in your country or in your state, it also allows you to sort of have those kids progress into your team or into first tech challenge, which is really important. So have you guys been? Or I know you guys have said that FLL has started this year in your country. Have you guys seen any individuals who are in First Light League right now, but want to join your team next year, and like what aspects they might be interested in joining?
I can say from my mentoring or helping of the VAS team that I have identified and seen some of the students there. They've definitely shown interest in wanting to continue doing robotics, especially one who's interested in programming. I'm hoping that he'll come and join us here at the Great Jamaica College. But whichever school he ends up in, I'm positive that he will continue doing robotics and join that school's FTC team and join the programming departments in particular. Other than that, I can't really say as I've seen any other members. They've all shown an interest, but that young boy in particular has shown the most interest in robotics and continuing doing robotics.
Yeah, I know like for us like we have like in our like training program we have new members who might want to join the team. See what they want to do, and I'd say one of our newer members, whose second year is this year, they have been able to actually come out of their shell being shy, and just helping with individual parts, actually CADing full parts of a robot to help the drive team and help the mechanical team to actually make the robot, which is just which just shows with the right guidance and what they can do, it shows the benefits that the first tech challenge program can have. Joel, I think you raised your hand.
Oh yeah, I wanted after you said that, I actually wanted to follow up. So I know that we've been talking about getting new members into our team and our club, but I'm kind of curious, what kind of inspired you guys to get into your team? Which year did you guys start in, and how was the experience for you guys? If that's all right.
Oh yeah, no, of course. So we started as like an FLL team in 2017,
2016.
what was it? 2016. So we started as an FLL team in 2016, and then we switched to an FTC team after 2 years, and this is our fourth year as an FTC team. So we started as a small group. It was all of us wanted to do robotics, but there was no robotics team in our area. So our coach actually her son's on the robotics team, and so she actually gratefully she was okay, I'll be the coach, because we were all so interested in it. And then after 2 years, we were all we're kind of at that age group that we could switch to FTC, and it's kind of a cool experience, because we were we were mentored in FLL by an FTC team, and it was really cool to see how they were using such big metal parts versus the tiny Lego ones we were using, I guess. And so then we switched to an FTC team, and then we've been like that ever since, and we're all just enjoying it, learning from every year and growing.
Nice. What about you, Mohil? Basically, how was your experience when joining the team for the first time?
So yeah, I can tell you this, that I was actually sitting next to the coach's son on the bus, and he asked me, "Hey, I'm starting a robotics team. Do you want to join?" I was like, "You know what? This sounds interesting, because I've been involved in FIRST." So I joined the team, and it's just the love for FIRST has grown with me ever since those 2 years, and switching over to FTC, I've been able to see myself grow, and as a team, I've been able to meet new people, make new friends like Ankita, and just being able to grow as a team, and help one another out to become the future leaders of tomorrow is something that I found was really important and really deep for me, because I've been able to when I joined the team to where I am now, the skills I have gained, I've been able to apply it where else I go, not just in my school but also my extracurriculars. So I think, let me ask you the same questions. How did you get involved in your team?
Okay. Well, I guess I'll start. So, due to the team, as I earlier mentioned, it existed before I was even born to begin with. So the team was already good in its good as in its management and its setup. But when I joined, when I went to Jamaica College, which was a high school, during grade 7, I tried to join the club. And during that time, they didn't really have a succession program, because majority of their members were grade 13 members due to their skill and most of them having free time. But I tried again in grade 8, and basically I was chosen due to the fact that I took up a role that wasn't really that not a lot of people took up during that time, which was CAD, computer aided design. And to be honest, it was really great, to be able to take up that role, to be able to play a major part in the team as well as making new friends, or brothers I should say, during that year, and being able to fly up with the team, because Jamaica National Championships wasn't happening that time. So we'd mainly go to New York to do our national championships. And flying up with the team and getting that experience of what FTC is and FIRST was amazing to me.
For me, I first joined when I was in grade 9, I believe. I'd heard about first from when I was in prep school or grade 6. But the school I was at that time, FLL didn't exist in Jamaica, and so they didn't have so no there were no teams for me to join. So after a while, when I finally made it into JC, and I went up to the robotics club in grade 7, as Joel said, well, I came in the year after Joel, but there were still no set succession programs when I tried to join. They kind of pushed me out and said, no, you can't really, you're too young to join. So I tried again in grade 9, and I kind of had to force my way into the team and kind of say, hey, listen, you're not going to get rid of me. And I picked up my job as an engineer. I picked up a job as an engineer in the team and just kept on going from there. And I've now reached where I am as the chief engineer for the team going to Worlds.
But let me just say that based on our experience of not easily getting into the club at first due to the succession program not being like properly set, we ensure that like we made the team and the club open for all, so that any person, no matter which grade you're in, grade 7 up to grade 13, you're able to get like a shot in the team.
That sounds amazing. Your stories are definitely like one of a kind, for sure. Wait, Joel, you were saying how like you like joined and you were like doing like CAD, but like now you're like into outreach. How'd you like switch into like outreach? How did that work?
Well, it's due to like the vacancy of our role because okay, I started out in CAD, and then during that time, we had like a good technical writer during that time, so I wasn't really interested in that role or mainly outreach in a sense until like when me and my second member who was during me Zachary and a second member of mine who was like a part of the group for 6 years now, uh we noticed that there's no one that is taking up the technical writing role. So I just decided, okay, then let me just take up that role. So I took up mainly like, of course, technical writing and all the outreaches that deal with it as well. I ensure say I manage a team and I ensure say I get all my information in time. But yeah, that's how I kind of ended up with like the outreach manager through doing like technical writing.
Yeah, like that's definitely really interesting. Just trying. I can say from experience, I started off in something I was really uncomfortable with, but now I'm part of outreach and I'm really enjoying myself. As outreach manager now, what do you say is your like favorite like moment or favorite experience that you've had so far this season as outreach manager?
I think my favorite moments would be like it's a lot of moments, but I think one of them would be like a message that I got after a team after their outreach because I was really helping them a lot to get back in the groove into robotics, and I don't really remember the real message outside of my head, but it was along the lines of, "You guys have been really helpful, and it helps to boost me as a leader to help and continue manage the club and like make it go further." And that kind of like inspired me in a sense, so it like really boosts my own morale as well, especially like other moments would just be just interacting with the different like teams as well, maybe the different like STEM personnels that were there, like different science clubs and so on, conducting experiments. But yeah, I think that one moment when I got that message from that team member about how much that we helped them and so on, I think that was my favorite experience.
No, definitely. Just like after an outreach event, when you hear like a parent or someone tell you, "Thank you so much," it definitely shows not just like the impact that you had, but just how meaningful it was, which is really important for us. Now to Zachary, what is your favorite moment or experience that you've had so far as a chief engineering?
My favorite moments, to be honest, I've had two favorite moments, but the first one was with my team. But if we're talking about outreach, then I'd have to say when we're at the national competition and the team from a school called Holy Childhood, they called me over to say, hey, can you come and help us with our robots? We're having some technical difficulties. So when I went over there and I was helping them, and I was able to solve their problem and get their robot functional. And when I saw it running, when I saw it running, I was just so happy to say I helped them to do that. And even before that, when I finished helping them and before I left, one of the team members came up to me and she said, "Thank you so very much for your help. We couldn't have done it without you." And so that was a very impactful moment for me at the competition and overall for this whole journey coming up to Worlds.
Yeah, yeah, like definitely just being able to help another team to, achieve their goal or achieve something is more than meaningful or more than impactful than it truly is. And I think sort of speaking sort of at the about the national championship, how did your team perform? Like I would say robot wise, like, how were your matches? How was everything?
Like I'll probably have to let Joel give the details, but I can say we did quite well. We got to winning Captain Alliance, so we actually have two spots to come up to Worlds. But we did pretty well. Joel can give the specific details for the matches.
I'd like to say that the robot performed like really well. I think one of our high scores for one of the matches was like around 100 points. But the robot did really great. I would like to. I'm not sure if the programmers and well, our engineers here, but I would like to shout out the programmers and engineers for doing like an amazing job when it comes to the robot. I think one of my like especially favorite moments was when we were facing against like the Immaculate Conception High School, which was an all-girls school, which was somewhat of our rivals. We got a tie in that match, and we were both surprised. But yes, the robot performed really well. We got winning Captain Alliance, and we were able to win the competition.
That's amazing to hear. You guys did really well, and we can't like wait to meet you guys. But like, how are you guys preparing? How's like preparations for Worlds now going? I mean, obviously you guys are like really well. Is there like any significant changes you guys are making, or is it just more like fine tuning like the what you guys have now?
I'd have to say it's more fine tuning at this stage and just making sure that everything is set. All our T's are crossed, all our I's are dotted. Everything has pretty much been since we won coming up to now. We've been doing a whole lot of stuff. So at this point, 1 week away from the start of Worlds, we're just doing some minor changes here and there, making sure everything is 100%.
Have there been any problems after nationals that you guys like encountered, like when you guys were programming or fine tuning that you guys saw might be a major problem later on?
So major problems is the robot in terms of overall preparation.
Like the robot or overall preparations.
I'll have to let Jules talk about the overall preparations, but in terms of our robots, there were some slight challenges in the programming, some slight that we were able to solve quickly. In terms of engineering, yes, we've had some challenges with it, some small parts of the robot here and there, but otherwise it's been smooth sailing from nationals come up to now.
As for overall preparations, I would say the challenge so far would be well judge and practice. I would like to say getting our members into the groove about like what to say and what to do during judging as well. So I would like to say that's was somewhat of a challenge, but as Zachary said, I would like to apply the same case and say that it's been smooth sailing.
Yeah, so like sort of speaking about your overall preparations, how are your preparations for your notebook? Or sorry, not your notebook, for your portfolio? Has everything there been fine, or have you guys had to change anything since nationals?
The portfolio is like there's not really that much of like major change. It's just updates so far because we ensured like during nationals that everything was we went through the book, we went well the game manual ensured to analyze everything we ensure say like almost every single thing is like laid out like already, so that all we need to do is just get the new information and just replace it. But the portfolio is going well so far. What about you guys?
So like kind of the same way we like the feedback we got like from people reading our notebook. We didn't really change like anything too big, just adding in like more details here and there, and making sure it's like easy to read, making sure it's not like too clustered. But definitely the portfolio is like such a main aspect, trying to like fit like a whole season worth into like 15 pages. It's like how to like format that. It's definitely a struggle, but it's definitely going.
So yeah, like as I was saying, putting 15 or putting your whole season into 15 pages is really hard, especially when you have to cover every single aspect of FTC. So how have you guys been able to break down those aspects into your portfolio?
How we mainly break down the aspects. So first, like we have like five different sections. We'd have like the basic meet the team, just to give them like an idea of like who is a part of the team. Then we'll have our team plan that comes like that will hold like some information about future goals and engineering process, in which we try to optimize the amount of pages we have, but still like give out like a strong content by using images and diagrams. uh we'll just have like robot designs and the engineering process that showcase STEM principles used, and the CAD. We'll also like have a little section for programming and our outreach, in which I would like to say that I kind of relate to what you're saying, because for outreach, due to the amount that we have done, it is kind of hard to fit all of that into a book of 15 pages. But yeah, that's how we like mainly do it. But to ensure like we get like as most information as possible, we'd add like a little like footer information, like something so small like fun facts and all that. So we like cross all the T's and dot all the I's.
Yeah, I know for us, like, you're just going from states to worlds, just trying to fit everything that's new, and is it really, like, really a hassle, because, you have to try and make sure you're able to move everything and not compromise any of the previous information, so the judges can see sort of your progression throughout the season. So, like, in your hardware and your software, are there any specific choices that you guys make in order to show that, like, progression, or your key aspects, or sorry, not your key aspects, but the key things about your robot and your software? How are you guys able to show that in your portfolio?
Well, it would be like basically dedicating like certain, pretty simply just dedicating certain like paragraphs or sections to it basically. So for example, like robot designs, we showcase the previous ideas that we have. So you kind of cross out the whole like showcase the timeline of your robot. Then for the engineering process, we speak like specifically about each mechanism as we go. Especially for programming, we also like divide that as well to like different mechanisms, explain the drivetrain, explain the intake, explain the lift, and then state how that all of that works together.
Yeah, just trying to make sure that your ideas flow is really important. So, just everything in your notebook makes sense, and just everything really comes together. So it's not just like hardware and software. How are you guys able to do that in your outreach and your team sustainability, as well as your business? How are you guys able to maintain that flow and maintain just everything staying together?
For other aspects like outreach and business. Uh, so for the business side, there's an entire page that will be like dedicated to like breaking down like the different parts, such as our future goals, our learning, like our succession, how we get financed. Like we don't really go really deep. We believe like say they can like the idea can be still like expressed while still being summarized. So we just try to use our like the keywords and like the most important details as possible. Because sometimes we gotta think in the minds of the FTC judges and be like, yeah, I ain't reading all of this. So like another thing as well would be as well the outreach. The outreach. as I mentioned as well, I would have to stop each and every outreach there. But what I found to be effective, because what I mainly did, I had like an entire page dedicated to like one of our most important outreaches, and then the rest of the pages are just listed out. There's multiple different ways to deal with it. However, I just decided to deal with it that way. And I noticed in order to like save the pages, I would like merge outreaches together. Like say, for example, we went to two math expos, one in Portland and one in like St. Andrew. You don't really need two separate things. You could just combine that and just stay the overall impact. So that's what I just mainly did.
Yeah, definitely. Like for outreach, it's like so hard to be able to concise like everything that you've done into like a tiny like box to make sure you have like space for like the things you want to list to make sure like the things they want to see. And obviously, you don't want to put like a whole essay because then the judges are definitely not going to read that. So like we've definitely had like to make sure we have like templates of like how we can go about things and like sorting things out and things like that. I have one last question was like how do you guys like put like diagrams and like pictures and things like that to contrast with like all the words and things like that?
Oh, repeat that question one more time. Sorry.
No, you're okay. Do you guys put like pictures or like pictures for like outreach or like diagrams for like your robot and like programming aspects to like kind of like show maybe like add more visuals?
Oh, yes, of course. Pictures are really important, especially when it comes to outreach. I think one of the slight mistakes I made last year was not showing the outreaches that we had for like certain interclubbings in which proof is needed. Even though you have a social media, like, proof is needed. So I ensure to like have those pictures, especially the pictures of the robots. The book is like somewhat 60% images of like either the robot or certain diagrams. But yeah, I mainly ensure to include that.
Yeah, I know for us that we try and maintain equal balance of not just content, but able to show that we have proof for that things that we've done. That way, we can make sure we are being concise and everything is all together. So, like something that we really like to do, especially in Zip Talks, is try and deliver all this information to teams that are have questions about this topic or want to learn more. So before we end off, what is a piece of advice that you would give to any team about about what you guys have done so far, about something that's important to you guys in first?
Zachary, you can go.
All right, well, one piece of advice that I'd give to other teams is always be prepared for the unexpected, especially when it comes on to departments like engineering and programming. Because no matter how well you think something is going to go and you're making a design for the robot and you're saying, yes, yes, this is going to work. You're making a program and you're saying, this is foolproof, and it cannot fail. You go and test it and you realize it fails. So you always have to be prepared for things that you will never expect to happen because they will happen no matter how much you think they will not happen. Things will happen. And also for outreach, you go and you're saying, okay, yes, this is what we're going to do. We're going to be presenting to, for example, you think you're going to be presenting to a group of high school students, and then you go and you're presenting to a bunch of prep school students, or you think that you're going to be doing an exhibition only to realize that you're the main attraction and all eyes are focused on you. Always be prepared for things like that because no matter what department you're in, they will happen.
I'd like to add on. So, uh, tip as well. Working in a team is really important. Yes, not all teams, like not all the time you're going to be working in a team is going to be good. But that's a part of the experience. You learn like the problems, you learn the mistakes, and you learn how to refine it. And that's like the most important tip. Try to always improve yourself as you go on further and further as well. You learned you had some challenges with the programming, you're able to master it. What else can I do more? Another tip as well when it comes to also preparations for like FTC and so on. Just always ensure to like be close with your network. speak with people, as I earlier mentioned as well, speak with people in which you can somewhat guarantee outreaches with, speak with other teams that can provide you with assistance. Because even though this is somewhat of a competition, we are still always able to help each other in some way, shape, or form. So that's all I could say for now.
Do you guys have anything else that you want to talk about your team or your excitement for the World Championship next week?
I don't really have anything. I just wanted to ask, how are you guys feeling for the World Championships?
I think I can't speak for Ankita, but I would say I'm definitely really excited. This is my first Worlds with the team, and it's definitely going to be really interesting. So, and we just can't wait to meet the amount of the teams from I think like 30 different countries. Just being able to see how our cultures collide and just seeing how everyone works together. So I think that's probably what I'm really excited about next week.
Yeah, I think the same way for me too. I just think it's gonna be a really cool experience. Like it's like our first time going. It's definitely like a very interesting first experience to be like meet new people. Definitely very like valuable.
I think for me as well, like even though my very first experience with Worlds before, it was amazing. I was able to I can confirm your guys, thoughts, because yes, you get to meet like a lot of new people. You get to like express one of each other's cultures, and you get to like have a lot of fun time as well. Especially you could also lose to a bot in tic tac toe, but we're not talking about that. But yeah, all that different stuff is like great.
Yeah, I share your sentiments about looking forward to meeting people, meeting the new team, with all the teams from across the globe, experiencing worlds and what it is, and this combination of the season, and all the teams coming together in this one place to share what we love to do, which is FTC. I'm definitely looking forward to it, and just an experience of it all.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we can't wait to meet you guys. And I think like almost a week from now. Well, bye guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, man. It has been a great pleasure.
It's been ours.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.